Hello, welcome. Lana Boyuk here. Today I want to share with you about learning to be at ease. So, what does that even mean? I'm talking about exploring this deeper part of us that gets triggered, that gets activated, that has us living in a reactive relationship with the world around us, with life, with other people, with situations, with circumstances, how it impacts the body, versus being in a more responsive relationship with life where we're calmer, we are more centered, we are more regulated and balanced within ourselves so that as circumstances and situations or the external or internal chaos is occurring, we meet it from a calmer place. So let's explore what that is about. One of the things I would love to introduce is the opposite of PTSD. So post-traumatic stress disorder. And we've heard a lot about trauma, and it's a very important conversation to be having, absolutely. The awareness needs to be there. This needs to be normalized, and it's helpful for individuals to realize maybe what they're struggling with, that there is a title for this and that there is particular help, that they're not making this up or that they're somehow weak or incapable, but rather there is deep trauma. However, this I consider the breakdown process. This is when we feel either very much in a frozen state, and in order to break down, it means we've got to start to look at the shadow aspects of the trauma. So there's mining, there's excavating, there is going within and exploring, there's meeting ourselves, there is a practice in tenderness. Maybe we're learning about compassion and patience and kindness and forgiveness for the first time. Maybe we are learning we deserve to feel more peaceful and that what happened wasn't our fault. So it's a tremendously important initiation to walk through. However, we can get stuck there. When we are in trauma reactions, we can feel very victimized because more often than not, when the trauma happened, we were victims. Now, it's one thing to be a victim in a situation and then to adopt a victim consciousness. So a victim consciousness is an identity. It's an archetype that we feed and we nurture, and it can be very disempowering. So it's not great to stay there. So the second piece is post-traumatic growth. So this is the breakthrough phase. Post-traumatic growth is what happens when we have done some of that heavy lifting, the unearthing, the shadow work, and we're in that healing phase and we're doing integration. This is where we start to build. We start to get stronger. We get to learn that we are much more resilient and adaptable than maybe we knew we were. Maybe we didn't have reference points in our life where we've been put in difficult situations and had to grow. So this is a really important second initiation that we need to be willing to step into. However, this is also where we need to let go of the victim archetype and step into maybe more of a warrior archetype, because it's one thing to be knocked down at the knees, to be flat down, face first on the ground, feeling like the victim, which again, there was truth in, but if we've adopted the victim consciousness, getting up from that state is a lot of work. So we've really got to dig deep. This is where we adopt the warrior archetype. This is where we are choosing. So it's personal choice. This is personal empowerment. We are stepping into a relationship with power. This is the warrior. We are saying, yes, that happened, and this is what I'm doing about it. This is who I'm becoming because of it. Do you feel that difference in the energy? This is where the opposite, being in the trauma, being in the victim consciousness, is this happened to me. This was done to me. And again, there is truth in that. But how is it serving your energy, your vitality, your radiance, your sense of self, your confidence, your attractor field, your magnetism, by staying in those lower emotional frequency bandwidths? So let's jump back into post-traumatic growth, PTG. When we choose to go into growth states, this is where the magic starts to happen. We suddenly also start to notice where we might be saying yes to things, people, beliefs, situations where we're giving our power away. And we might now start to implement boundaries. Because when we get committed to growth, we are no longer as interested in feeding those aspects of ourselves or our life around us, relationships, that are going to keep us in the victim consciousness. And please know, individuals fall in love with us because of how we make them feel. So if you've got individuals in your life who don't as much appreciate you or like you as you're coming into the growth phase, it's because they prefer you, they love you, air quotes, in the victim state. Maybe they feel more powerful than you. Maybe you are less opinionated. Maybe you don't have as much to offer, as much to say, so they feel better about themselves based on looking at the hardship you're in or the suffering you're in. So we want to go into the growth phase. This is life. It's about the breaking down, the death, the contraction, and then we have the expansion. It's the birth. This is the constant of life. It's that pulse. We are the same. Our cells die, they rebirth. New cells, there's division. So we are constantly in this. So we are retarding our growth by not going into the post-traumatic growth phase. Now, this takes a shift in your consciousness. Like I said, what do you choose? Do you choose to be a victim to life? Life is happening to you. Bad things are happening to you. Feel the energetics of that. You are going to draw more of the same to you. Where instead, who am I becoming? I am becoming more powerful. I am becoming more empowered. I am becoming more embodied. I am becoming more aligned with choice. Then we take the wisdom gained from that state, that experience, those experiences where we were victims, those become wisdom. So now, once we even move through the becoming phase, we then eventually be the wisdom. We are attuned and aligned with the wisdom of the experiences we've gone through that have broken us down, the experiences that we've grown through, we've broken through. And now we have birthed this next iteration of ourselves. So we become less reactive to life and we begin to respond to life from a calmer, more centered, more regulated, more balanced place within ourselves, which includes our nervous system. We don't react to situations. We don't feel fear of missing out. There isn't scarcity. We have perspective. We have the grace. We have the wisdom. We have the centeredness. And now we decide, what do I choose? You see how beautiful this is and how it feels? And for any of you on this spiritual path of awakening, which is basically, your energy is getting more attuned. It's like a dimmer switch turning up. But it's not linear. You're not like a switch turns on and I'm awoke. No, no, no. It's a process. It's a verb. You are becoming more aware, more aligned, more attuned, more intuitive, more of a channel for these higher aspects of you to move through you, work through you for the greater good of all, rather than when we're in those fear states, stuck in the trauma, stuck in the PTSD, then we are afraid. Less choice. So I hope this makes sense. I hope it lands. And I hope that you've enjoyed this. If you have, please subscribe. And if you are ready, you can feel that impulse in you to learn to respond to life, to learn how to cultivate more comfort, more courage, more emotional resilience in a very unsteady world, please reach out. LanaBoyuk.com. The links are below, and I wish you a really loving day. Blessings to you. Thank you.